I start my stream, I give it 5 minutes, and there's like 30 to 40 people in my first stream. I was so overwhelmed and so scared. It's very funny looking back at my first VOD because like you can hear the nerves in my voice.
Welcome everybody. I actually invited Ermura for the first interview today because I was really impressed with how you did your debut. But before we go into all of these topics, maybe introduce yourself first. Who is Ermura and what can somebody expect when they stumble into your stream?
So hi guys, I am Ermura and I am a Cloud Elf VTuber. I play a variety of games. For example, recently I have primarily been playing games like Hollow Knight, League of Legends. We play a lot of marbles on stream and Kukuro, and yeah, I'm open to playing anything.
And how long have you been on Twitch? And maybe talk a little bit about how that journey was for you.
So I started on Twitch on the 14th of May 2025, so just over a year now, and the journey has been absolutely amazing. I've had so much support from my community and it has been an absolutely wonderful time, and I am so happy that I got started as a VTuber.
When you started into VTubing, right? I followed that actually quite closely. I think I even saw your TikTok before you even started your first stream. And I was so impressed with how quickly you actually scaled your follower base and how well you did your debut. Like, how did you achieve to do that this well?
So one of the big things that I was scared about when I got started was like having my first stream and like having no one there. So I was like, let's make some TikToks to get started. And in my brain, I was like, I'm going to like produce TikToks for like a month, build up a bit of a following first. And then once I've got a bit of a following, I will start streaming. And to be honest, it took off a lot quicker than I was expecting it to. So originally I didn't plan to have my first stream for like a month, but I ended up having it 2 weeks later, completely unprepared, because I wanted to sort of ride the hype that I had somehow created.
What was like maybe the amount of people where you knew, or maybe the amount of interactions where you knew, okay, I am now ready to start my first stream?
So I was getting a lot of views, but it was primarily the comments that I focused on and the interaction. Once I actually saw a lot of people heading over to my Twitch to like follow me on Twitch, that's when I was like, right, we can probably do a first stream because I've got people following me over there. Because views on TikTok doesn't necessarily translate to people actually following you on Twitch. So yeah, that's what I focused on more before I started.
If you actually had to do like redo it today and start really from fresh, what would you maybe do different? And what would be the things where you say, okay, this I did well, this is what I'm going to keep?
Mm. Definitely more preparation. When I was creating my TikToks at first, I went into it with my phone mic. Like, if you go back and look at my first TikToks, the audio quality is so terrible.
VTuber self-introduction Q&A. 3, 2, 1, let's go. What is your name?
Ermura.
What's your nickname?
Emmy.
What kind of VTuber are you?
A Cloud Elf. Because I was in such a rush to get started because I was so excited that I didn't actually sit down and prepare everything. Same thing with like things on OBS. There were some filters I hadn't set up. My audio was a bit botched because I rushed into it because I was excited. But yeah, no, I think doing that also just helped me to grow. So it was also a good thing. So yeah, it's a bit 50-50.
So to somebody who wants to start their debut sometime soon, you would recommend to like maybe take a little time to do your setup and learn how OBS works and all of that.
Yeah, definitely. Especially so you're not like fumbling midstream trying to figure out what's went wrong. So yeah, take a bit of time to learn the tools you're going to use before rushing into it.
Do you maybe have like one or two OBS favorites where you say, oh, this is really cool, something you figured out?
Um, that you're able to actually like import new filters and actual things to edit like things. Like I thought OBS, what was in OBS was all there was, but you can actually install like plugins or something to like change things up, add an outline to this, or change things up. It's really there's so much more than I expected. So it's definitely a lot to look into.
Yeah, the tool is easy to start with, but then you can go really professional with it. This is what I actually like about it as well. So let's maybe talk a little bit about how it was for you and your journey. you grew quite quickly. I think right now, when I look into your streams, it's like somewhere between 30 to 50 people on average watching you. So,
Mhm.
how was that? Like growing to this, I want to call it like big indie size, right? In this short of time.
It was absolutely amazing. I absolutely love my community and they're great. At first it was very nerve-wracking because when I first started my first stream, I was like, okay, I'll be prepared for like 5 people max. We're gonna have a chill time. It's not gonna be nerve-wracking. I start my stream, I give it 5 minutes, and there's like 30 to 40 people in my first stream. I was so overwhelmed and so scared. It's very funny looking back at my first VOD because like you can hear the nerves in my voice. Um, but no, it's been a great journey and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I'm very grateful, especially to everyone who's like come by to all of my streams.
Do you maybe have a tip for anybody who maybe is in the same situation as you? Like, how did you manage to deal with these nerves in that situation?
I just sort of powered through. I honestly, it was a bit of a blur. I don't remember it too badly. But I think one tip would probably be like, remember it is your first stream. People aren't gonna penalize you for making mistakes. Mistakes are okay, and it's how you learn. So don't punish yourself for making mistakes. It's how you'll grow and you'll learn from them and get even better. So
Yeah, being a little scuff is always part of the stream, right? I have that often enough too.
major scuff. I think my community would say there's not a stream that goes by without a bit of scuff from
Oh,
me. So
I feel that. I
yeah,
feel that.
still learning, but it's all good.
So if you compare like your first few streams to now, like is it any different? Are the nerves gone? Like is it just regular, hey, I'm just gonna go live instantly? Or do you still have maybe one of these nerves, early feelings, anything like that?
It was yeah, no, things are a lot different. I'd say I've definitely improved on like how my content is, like the audio's improved, like how I manage things a lot better as well. Like I'm not as like frantic and trying to figure things out. But sometimes the nerves still come back. Like even a year in, sometimes I'll be starting up stream and out of nowhere I'll be like really nervous all of a sudden, especially if like I haven't streamed in a week. So yeah, I think it's normal. But yeah, definitely a lot of improvements and yeah, things have been a lot better since that first stream.
So you talked about a few improvements you did. Like one of the key things is audio. Do you think like that is a big part of like especially being a VTuber?
I feel like having good audio is important because if you have like terrible audio, then that can turn a lot of people away very quickly. And I'm not going to say my audio is perfect because I still need to work on a lot of things with my audio. But I've been slowly working on changing things, figuring out what works. And I actually got a mic instead of using my phone audio. I got a mic and it helped things a lot. But
How long did you use your phone for? I just gotta ask.
not too long, to be fair. It was
Okay.
primarily for like the first TikToks I was recording, and then I was like, I cannot start streaming without a mic. So I like struggled to like I was running around trying to find a mic before my first stream, and I'm pretty sure it arrived on the day that I was having my first stream. Um, so I was then scrambling to get it set up and figuring out the sound filters, which I still haven't figured out. Like I need to get myself like an audio tech at this point, but it's all good. It's all good.
Honestly, me neither though. I used to have sound filters in, but now I just deleted them all and I'm just doing it raw. I'm just doing it raw right now. So I
I don't
totally
blame
feel
you. I
that.
don't blame you.
So let's maybe talk a little bit about your community, right? Because I think growing a community, having a community, that's a huge part of being a VTuber and a streamer in general, right?
Yeah.
Let's maybe talk about your community first and foremost. If you had to give them 3 characteristics, what would those be?
What characteristics would I give them? They're very chaotic at times. I feel like any community is chaotic, let's be honest. Yeah. They're very supportive. Like,
Mm.
they will. I feel once again, I feel like a lot of communities are very supportive. They care about you and your health, and like they won't like if you need to take a stream off, they would prefer you to like look after yourself rather than push yourself to stream when you're not feeling well. And a third one. They can be stubborn at times, but so am I. Like, yeah. Oh, sleep deprived. We're all very sleep deprived from what I've noticed. Me and my community do not seem to sleep. Our sleep schedules are all over the place.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah, I
seems to be
guess.
a common factor across communities. I have seen that quite often.
I feel like my community reflects me in quite a way, like stubbornness and sleep deprived and this and that. But you know what? It's great. It's great.
That's a good point, right? Like the community always reflects the streamer. I do get the feeling
Mhm,
that that
mhm.
is a thing. Like that actually is.
Yeah, I honestly like I feel like you draw in people who are
Mm.
similar to yourself. And then you'll just start noticing it more and more as you go, to be honest.
That is so true. Let's
Mm,
talk about growing your community though. So, do you like maybe first of all, before we go into like how to grow a community, how
mm.
important do you think having a community and like growing your community is?
I think having a community is very, very important, especially so you can like have the support from them. Having my community has very much like encouraged me to continue going, and they're like mostly the reason why like I am so happy to show up to streams because I know like my community is going to be there. They're so amazing, and we're going to have a great time. Whereas I feel like if you don't have as much of a community or a bond with your community, like it might feel like more of a drag to like start streaming because like if you don't like your community, then you might not like being
Mm.
there as much sort of thing. So definitely very important. In terms of growing your community, I don't necessarily think it's a major thing to worry about. Like if you're happy with what you've got, then there's no reason to keep growing it. If you're happy with the people there, then I feel like that's more important than like being huge, to be honest. But I feel like different people have different opinions on that. But I sort of like my close knit community.
I know, right? It's way nicer, I
Mm,
think, if you get to like know the people and it's like hanging out with friends rather than just having
yeah.
like random people in there. You're like, I don't really like them, but I'm
Mhm,
here. I'm
mhm.
here for the numbers.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about the size as much,
Mm.
especially if you very much enjoy your community.
So maybe talk about a little bit about the tools of how you grow or foster your community, right? I think you have a Discord, I'm pretty sure. And do you
Yes.
use like Twitter, TikTok, any other means to shape, maybe gather people for your community or grow or nurture that community?
So yeah, I've got a Discord, which is actually really active, and we have a lot of chats over there, which is very nice. But other than that, I only really use TikTok, and even then, I've been really slacking on the TikTok videos recently. So in terms of growing, I haven't done much growing recently. I need to get back to creating some TikToks. But I do also have an Instagram. I have a YouTube that we've posted like two playthroughs on, and we I also have a X, Twitter, that thing. But yeah, once again, I don't really use it that much, but I really want to start using it more so I can have more content for my viewers. That's my most important thing to work on at the moment.
So you talked about how your Discord is quite active. That's
Mm,
interesting because I've seen like it's either the one way or the other. I've seen many communities where the Discord is really inactive, and then other
mm.
streamers where it's like really active to the point of there always being somebody online in the voice chat. Did you do something to grow this activity, or did it just come naturally?
I think a lot of it came naturally. Our voice chats aren't as like used. They're used here and there, especially when people are playing together. But I think one of the major things that help with the Discord being active is everyone getting along, everyone like sort of talking about things and having similar interests. Me turning up every now and then also helps because then people are also talking to me. But yeah, no, I think once again that close knit community definitely helps it to be more active because
Mm.
they all get along, they all like doing things together, and yeah, it's great.
Have you set some special rules or did something to ensure that like certain people or certain behaviors are not accepted, or are you rather like laissez-faire and just do what you want?
We do have some rules, but to be honest, we haven't had to enforce them too often. I think we've only had one or two bans ever on the server, which is like pretty good. So we've never had any major like incidents with like loads of people. It's only ever been like one or two people, and that's always like the easiest to deal with. But it's like knowing when to deal with it and how to deal with it, and knowing when to draw the line, basically, because you don't want to have like one person who's really like negative then affect the rest of the community, basically, because once the rest of the community gets infected, then it just goes downhill from there.
That is so true. Like, just to add on to that, one thing I've seen is that just one toxic person or negative person can influence like how a whole community feels. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I always give the advice, hey, if you have like this one toxic person, even if it's a regular viewer, get rid of them.
Yeah. That was a major issue with me at the start. I was like very
Mm.
hesitant to deal with people, especially when they had been around for a while. But now I'm realizing how like actually worth it is. Once you get rid of the problems, like things are so much nicer and stress-free and less worries, especially when you go live, because you don't have to have it like thinking about it in the back of your head, worrying that something's gonna happen.
That is so true. Like, that's the one thing maybe I would say if somebody's building a community right now, which is just starting off, if you have especially toxic people or people that just don't fit the vibe for any reason, I would get rid of them early because they actually influence how you build. Like, the basis influences the house that you build on it.
Yeah. If you have one person like not following the rules or doing something that you don't like, then the rest of the people are going to think it's okay because they're going to see this person getting away with it, and then they're going to start doing it, and then other people are going to start doing it because they think it's okay, and then it will just spiral out of control.
100%. Since we have been talking a bit about community, let's maybe go into like juggling private life with streaming, because I think it is no secret that it is tough, if not impossible, to actually make a living of VTubing, at least on the
Mhm.
indie level. So there always has to be a person behind the screen actually living a real life, having jobs, having money come in somehow. So how do you deal with that? How do you juggle this?
So at the moment, I'm actually working full time, so Monday to Friday, which is it can be very tiring on top of VTubing, especially whilst I was having my subathon. I was working I was working Monday to Friday through the week, and then I would come home, immediately start streaming. And for about like 4 months, I was just in that habit. Like there was no like free time, which was a bit of a push for me. But because I enjoyed streaming and being with my community, it wasn't like a burden. Like I very much enjoyed it. Like I feel like, but you still need to have times where you can have your own free time and do what you want. So there's a lot of juggling. I haven't been the best at it at times, especially because, like I've said, I enjoy spending time with my community, and I've made so many friends through VTubing that I spend so much time with them outside of streams as well. Um, but no, definitely managing it is a good thing. But I wouldn't say I'm the best at managing it. But you know what? I'm having fun, so that's all that matters to me at the moment.
I actually remember your 4 months subathon. That is, every time I went into Twitch, you were online. That is actually crazy. Like, did you sacrifice your private life for that, or how did you do that?
Yeah, my private life sort of ceased to exist for a tiny bit. I still made time for my private life. Like I had a holiday with my family planned for a few weeks, so I went and did that. When my friends wanted to plan something, like I had a stream off here and there. So I wouldn't say it's like the perfect subathon I had, because I did definitely have breaks in between, but I feel like that helped me to be able to go on for longer and helped me to manage it a bit better. But there were times when my friends were like, "Oh, do you want to come do this with us tonight?" And I'm like,
Mm.
about that. But yeah, if I had notice, like I think I usually like wanted like a week or two notice, and then I would just like let people know I wasn't going to be live that night, and yeah, it's fine. But yeah, definitely prioritize your personal life as well, because you don't want it to fizzle out and disappear, because you're never free to spend time with your friends.
100%. I actually do want to go into this a bit more because I think that's really interesting. Did you notice, like, because if you stream every day, if I were to think, like, I have to stream every day and I don't really get any bigger breaks in between, like, even for a day,
Mm.
did you notice that that goes onto the mental somehow, or did you just manage to handle that?
I was able to handle it. I'm pretty fine. Everyone was like, "Are you okay? You've been streaming every day." I think there was some days when I was like struggling a bit more, but it wasn't to the point where it was worrying. I think the biggest thing that took a hit during those months was probably my sleep. Because I'd like quite literally I'd finish work about 5 o'clock, half five-ish. I'd get home at like 6 o'clock. I'd then stream until 10 o'clock. Um, and making sure like I had time to eat and do other stuff before I slept to wake up for work. That was probably the biggest factor. But no, my mental was fine. I had so much fun, and it was actually a bit sad ending it because I was so used to like starting up stream each day to talk to my community. But no, having some free time now is definitely very nice.
Can imagine, yeah. Oh my
But
god.
yeah.
So can you actually like maybe let's go about like how the person behind the monitor and Ermura is connected. Do you draw like a clear line between these two characters, or would you say, hey, the way I am in personal life is just the way I am on stream?
I think there's some lines that are drawn, but overall, I think it's very much the same. There's some like information that is like cutthroat,
Mm.
not out there, because personal things. Got to keep a boundary somehow. But no, overall, in terms of personality and things, everything's very much similar, I believe. I guess the only thing that is different about how I speak and how I act would be the language I use sometimes is very much kept more to a minimum on stream. So yeah, other than that, very, very much similar. Amir and me have sort of fused into one at this point. Um, so yeah, I guess that's what happens.
I should learn from keeping my language a little bit more kept. I think I'm kind of bad about that, but
There's
uh,
times that my brain's like, "Oh, wait, we're streaming. Oh, I shouldn't have said that." But like, it doesn't happen too often, and I feel like I'm very good. And it was really funny when I started speaking to my like streamer friends off stream more. They were like, "Amira, your language, what is this?" But yeah, it wasn't too bad.
that is crazy. Do you like in your personal life, do your friends and family know that you stream, or do they actually watch the stream?
Um, my family knows. I have my family show up into my streams sometimes, which is a bit scary sometimes. So yeah, I do sometimes have family show up. In terms of friends, the friends that I've known for like really long, they know that some of my newer friends, they know I stream, but they don't like have the name of my account or this or that. So it's very 50-50. Sometimes I wish I kept it more like personal and hidden, but it's not a big deal to me at least. They all know to keep their mouth shut and not to spill any information, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I feel that. I kept it kind of hidden because the conversation to have, hey, I am an anime boy fox on the internet streaming to strangers, is quite a wild one to have.
Yeah, no, my in terms of me, my family have always known I've been very into anime, very into this sort of thing. So I don't think it was much of a surprise to them. I think they were sort of happy I was doing something. So yeah, no, it worked out well for me.
Do you actually like just one last question to like the personal life stuff? Do your viewers know who your family is, or do they show up but you know but nobody else knows?
No one else knows, only I know.
I love
So
that.
I'll be like, "Oh, hi." One of my mods know. Yeah, my mods know. Well, two of my mods know at least. Three of my mods. Three of my mods know.
Hi, very unknown person.
Yes, and they'll message me after stream and they'll be like, "Hat, your mum turned up in stream," and I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, I noticed." So pretty funny sometimes.
Hell, oh, I love that actually. Your community is like, it seems to be like such a close knit and cool community. Maybe,
Mhm, mhm.
what do you think you did right in growing your community?
I honestly don't think I specifically did anything right. I think I just got very, very lucky. A lot of my journey, like I put down to luck. Um, but yeah, no, yeah, don't really have much to say about that one. Like I didn't even really like deal with people I should have dealt with sooner. But I feel like things have definitely been a lot better since I dealt with the issues I
Mm.
was having. But no, I attribute a lot of things down to luck in my VTubing journey, to be honest.
I mean, there is a saying: once luck becomes repetitive, it is a skill at some point. So
I
you,
must have skill then.
yeah, you must have leveled up your luck. Mm,
Maybe it's my overall just niceness rubbing off on people and then they're nice back. I hope at least.
100%. I would definitely agree with that. But maybe you talked about like some things you didn't deal with soon enough. Maybe talk about some things where you said, okay, this is a mistake, and if you start growing a community, definitely do this different than I did.
So I near the start I had some people who were like very demanding on what I did and how it
Mm.
had to be done. And I didn't deal with that soon enough, so it sort of got a bit out of hand. And then other people thought they could start, telling me what to do more and this and that. And I feel like if I dealt with that sooner, I wouldn't have had to worry about it as much. Um, and I tried to mediate a lot of situations, but then sometimes it would just not help. So
Mm.
yeah, that's probably one of the biggest situations I had, and just making sure people are like following the rules and like listening to my mods, because we also had a few people who wouldn't listen to the mods and like, um, yeah, would be sometimes mean to the mods. So dealing with that was a big thing. You want to make sure your mods feel secure enough to like
Mm.
help you and do their job, because if they don't feel like supported, then they're not going to like feel as okay doing certain things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. It also seems like you really work closely with your mods, right? So they must be a big part in being able to grow your community.
Yeah, I work very closely with my mods. One thing I do differently when selecting my mods is I don't do mod applications. I
Oh.
personally reach out to the people that I think I would work well with to be my mods. So currently I have 5 mods, and each of them were pretty much hand selected. The first 3 I selected by myself, and then the 2 most recently, I sat down and spoke to my mods about who they think would be a good fit. Because I also don't want to get mods that don't work well with my current mods, because then that can create tension between them. So I think having that conversation with my mods was definitely like useful and worth it, to just make things better in general.
I really like that. I should have thought about that early on. I wish we would have had this interview earlier. Yeah, that is a good idea. Wow.
Mm.
Any maybe talking about your mods, like do you have maybe any rules, regulations, or stuff you talk to them about, like what to look out for, what to do in the Discord, or can they just run wild?
Well, they mostly run wild, but not completely. Like, I have a set of rules, and it's pretty much where, like, when you see someone not following the rules, then this is what you need to do. So I basically had a mods responsibilities channel set up, where it was like, oh, if in this X situation, this is what you need to do, just so they know. Because I feel like if I just let them run completely wild, then they're not going to know what actions to take when a situation actually occurs. So I think having something for your mods to go back and reference, so they know what they should do, like if someone's not following the rules, like what should be the punishment be. And that also helps, so like you're not having like 4 different mods give out 4 different sets of punishments, because then your community is going to think it's like unfair. One person got punished this way, the other one got punished this way. So yeah, I think having a clear guide on what your mod should do can help them take action easier, because they know what to do.
That is true. Yeah, you really trust your mods. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I have a lot of trust in them.
So maybe let's talk about where your journey is headed, right? So do
Mm.
you have goals while streaming? And if you do, what are those? What is your next big goal?
So I guess my next big goal would be trying to get back into growing my community and potentially hitting partner at some point. I'm a long, long way off, but I feel like that's the next big goal. I recently had my debut stream, so that's now just sort of passed, and we've come to the end of that. But yeah, I have some other goals, like smaller goals, like a merch release at some point. Currently working on that actually, which is really exciting. And then I want to plan a big charity event towards the end of the year. So that's another goal that I'm working towards. But other than those two, I think my biggest one would be trying to hit partner at some point, but that's a long way off still. But it's something to look forward to for the future.
Maybe let's do some rapid fire questions to end off the interview. Just some stuff I had in
Okay.
mind and some stuff I have written down.
Mm.
So, have you at one point in your life actually thought about stopping with streaming again?
Not really. I guess there was like one situation. I wouldn't necessarily say I've ever thought about stopping streaming, but there have been chances, well, places where I was like, oh, I'm not doing as good. Is it really worth it? Should I continue? Um, and I think that was really down to where my growth was so big at the start. Like I had these high expectations for myself. And when that all sort of plateaued out and I stopped growing as much, I was like, have I like messed up? Like, what am I doing wrong? And I like worried that I was just going to be in this standstill for ages. But once I was able to work past that initial like high expectations and I was able to like ground myself again, I think since then I've been fine. It can be demotivating, like seeing numbers drop. But like I said, because my community is so close knit and I enjoy being around them, numbers aren't the biggest thing to me. So I feel like not worrying about numbers has helped me not to think about quitting streaming as much. Because yeah, I feel like those who worry about numbers too much then see their numbers drop, and then that's when you start having the mindset of potentially quitting a lot more.
100. Do you actually have your view account like visually displayed when you stream?
I do. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. I don't know if there's a specific reason I do. Maybe it's because I don't care about it as much. So if I look
Mm.
at it midstream, it doesn't get in my head. But I feel like I like to track when like moments maybe people leave, like if there's like a sudden switch, if I'm switching game, like when more people come in, just that sort of thing. Just so I'm more aware, I guess. But yeah, for those people who like worry more about like how many people there are, having the view account off is definitely a recommended thing because then it won't get in your head.
Yeah, I
But yeah.
feel like it's really hard not to care about the numbers. That's actually why I have mine off, because in the
Mm.
beginning I didn't care. But then at some point when you see those numbers go up, you just kind of like I at least start to care a little. And I think if I were to go down to like 2 to 3 viewers right now, it would be tough. I don't think I would stop streaming, but it would be a tough thing to see.
Yeah, definitely. Like seeing your numbers go up and then dropping can be so demotivating. Because then you start thinking you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a hurdle I overcame very quickly, like I said. Like my first few streams like had 40 people, 39, and then I think I dropped down to like the 20 range and I was like, what have I done wrong? Why have people left? And then it got really in my head around that point.
Mm.
But once I came to terms with it and I was like, yeah, it's not going to continuously go up. I think since then I've been pretty chill about it, and yeah, no, it's just not something I worry about too much.
That is actually a good characteristic to have. Do you do anything to like train not to worry, or do you just like not worry per se as because you're just like that?
I think there's still times I do worry. So saying I don't worry completely is a bit of a lie. Like when I drop down to like a certain point, then my brain's like, oh, okay, maybe people aren't enjoying this game. Like, I don't accredit the issue completely to myself. And like one thing that's very good to remind yourself about is people have lives. They're not always going to be able to show up. So even if you have like an active community of 40, like you can't expect those 40 people to always be able to show up. And some people might not like the game you're playing. Some people might just be busy and they only able to stop in for a bit. So remembering that people have life outside of your streams as well is another big factor. But I think in my head there's still like a minimum amount of people before I'd start worrying again. So I think setting that bottom limit pretty low is like a helpful thing. Like if I suddenly dropped from like my usual 30 to 10 maybe, then I might be a bit concerned. But like once again, it would be me analyzing what is the issue. Maybe something was wrong with the stream quality, maybe people don't like the game I'm playing, or maybe people are just busy with their own lives pretty much.
Do you think like would you categorize streaming as a hobby or more of a side job for you?
So at the moment it's very much I want to say it's a hobby, but I do want to like start being able to put more time into it. Where I'm working full time at the moment, it very much has to be a hobby. But starting from July, I have like 2 years where I can focus more on streaming. So it's very much going to be able to become a side job for me. And like it's not that I want to focus on it more to be able to like grow massively and this and that. I want to be able to focus on it more so I can give back to my community more and like give them better content so I can improve. And then to be honest, at the end of those 2 years, I'm going to be back to working full time again. And at that point, I'd have to reevaluate if I'm able to continue streaming. Because working full time and streaming on top of it, especially when I'm streaming 3 to 4 times a week, can become very tiring. So in two
Yeah.
years I might have to cut down my streams massively, unless you never know, in those 2 years I might take off and I might be able to do streaming full time, but you never know. It's not something that I want to lean back fully on and rely on. Always having backup options is always the best thing, because if I was worrying about it too much, then I feel like that's when I start stressing about the numbers too much. I'd be like, okay, this is my only option, I need it to do well, that sort of thing. So definitely preparing other things to fall back on is the best option.
Mm. Have you had days like, especially when I know it from myself, right? When you have a job and then you just come off the job, maybe had a really tough day. It's the evening and you just got a stream
Mhm.
where it's like so tough to go online. Do you have that, or is streaming more of like, hey, I'm like chilling, I don't have to like turn on my head kind of thing?
I think it's very 50-50. There's times when I finish work and I'm just so tired and I just want to sit not doing anything. But at the same time, I feel like me streaming just helps me relax and I get to chat with my community. And sometimes it can help me take my mind off of things.
Mm,
And so I'm not worrying about things that have happened. And one big thing that helps me like actually stick to streaming is having a schedule. I'm very much a person, once I know people are waiting for me and they're expecting something, I will show up. However, if I didn't have a schedule and it was just me showing up on my own accord, then that would be you guys would never see me because I'd be like, oh, they're not expecting me. I don't have to go live. But yeah, having the schedule, I'm like, okay, they're waiting for me. Like when people are relying on me to do something or show up, I don't like disappointing people. So even like canceling a stream is a struggle for me. Like I've recently had to struggle cancel a stream because I was having really bad back issues and I couldn't sit in my chair. So I had to cancel stream so I could relax a bit after work, because sitting down for like 8 hours that day really killed me. So it's very 50-50 and dependent on the situation. But I feel like if you're the sort of person sometimes, not have the motivation to stream, sometimes having a schedule and knowing that
mm.
people are waiting for you and expecting you can definitely help.
100%. Yeah, for me, it is exactly the same for me. That's why I was like, damn, okay, I can totally feel this. Like, if I didn't have a schedule, I think I would stream so much less than I actually do,
Mhm.
because then it's this hurdle of like going online, Like, people don't expect you, they didn't plan for it, and you're like, okay, just not going
Mhm,
online
mhm.
today. But actually canceling a
Yeah.
stream you have scheduled, that is rough. I hate that.
Mhm, mhm. I feel like I'm disappointing people.
Yeah, yeah. Would you say a schedule is really important to have people actually know when you stream and to come into your stream, or not?
Yes, definitely. I feel like some people do really well, like being able to stream whenever. But I feel like having a specific schedule really helps, because then people know when you're going to be live and when to show up. When you're just streaming randomly, people are going to struggle to know. They
Mm,
might not get the notification that you're live. They might be sleeping. And I feel like it definitely helps to cement people. They're like, oh, it's Wednesday. Emmy's going to be streaming at this time. And I feel like where I start at the same time every day, people know when to show up. Like, even if they're not in my Discord, if they don't have the notifications turned on, they will still be like, okay, it's Wednesday, it's 6 o'clock. Emmy's going to be online. So I think having a schedule definitely helps. And then people get into the habit of showing up.
Yeah.
Like maybe they plan on Wednesdays they're going to come watch my stream because they know I'm going to be live, and then they can work it into their schedule as well. Whereas if they don't know you're live, then they might have other plans. Not saying that people won't plan to do stuff over streams anyway, but it will be more in the back of people's heads knowing that you're going to be live every X days sort of thing.
Mm. And just for people who are watching maybe right now and do want to join your stream, what are your times usually?
So I stream on my schedule. It's changed recently after my subathon, but I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays at 6 o'clock, whatever time zone it is in the UK. So either BST or GMT, depending on the time of the year. I always start at 6 o'clock, my time.
And maybe let's end with you plugging all your channels and everything you have. So where can people find you in general?
I am literally on every site pretty much under Ermura. So it's Ermura with a double R, double A at the end. But yeah, same thing across all platforms. If you want an easier way to find it, I have my link tree on my TikTok.
And it's going to be, of course, in the description of the video, so they can find you there if they want to. And I would definitely recommend it. All right.
Thank you.
So with that, thank you so much for your time. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Do you have any last words you want to give?
Thank you all for watching. Make sure to follow Blue, and I hope to see you guys at some point. Bye-bye.
Bye.